Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 5 now of the Blues Focus Live Lounge. Oh, my camera's gone on the wiki a little bit there. Let's sort that out first of all. Back to it. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 5. Today, we are going to be going over a few things, a few talking points. We're going to touch on pre-season in Austria, our chances of survival, and talking about the poll that we put out. The open house is something else we're going to touch on and see what that could possibly mean, and going over potential transfer window news, and are we preparing for championship, or we have to start looking at potential transfers for League One. So pop in the comments, guys. Say hello. Let me know you're here. Let's get on with some questions. Pop them in the chat, and we'll get through them as soon as we can. And the first thing I want to start with is something that the club have just announced, literally 4 minutes ago, was that they have done a 2 for £30 offer to season ticket holders, so we can get our just over in the corner. The 2 for £30 for the season ticket holders to be able to get friends and family to come to the next 2 home games. So that will be Tuesday versus Middlesbrough and Watford on Saturday the 16th. So they want to be able to get a lot more people in, try and give the boys something to have behind them, and we really need to try and work out whatever we can do to get down there. So that would be a bit of a priority for us, is to try and do that. So that was announced just so if you go on the Birmingham socials, you'll be able to see the link to the ticket. So it's 2 for £30. So both Middlesbrough and Watford, 2 games for £30, and it's from season ticket holders to be able to treat their family and friends. So there's plenty of us out here. So let us know. This I completely agree with. It is maybe a little bit too late. It's in 2 days' time. They need to be launching offers a little bit more in time, like they did with the Sunderland game. Everybody had enough time to get stuff sorted. Look, I think they're looking at this saying these games are all important, and Tuesday nights are fundamentally known not to be busy nights for us anyway. So I think the offer could help bring some more people in, but I don't think it's going to make a massive difference, being let's say 48 hours before kickoff, announcing that they've got an offer on, and you need to be a season ticket holder to use a reference. So yeah, well, whether that's going to make any difference to us or not, we will see. But at the end of the day, it's something else to try and get the fans down, and that's essentially, with the recent ticket prices, that's buy one get one free, isn't it? So that'll be. Let's hope. If people were going to go to the Watford game anyway, they would have spent £30 on one ticket. So essentially they're getting the Middlesbrough game for free if they can get there. So that's that. And people, exactly that. If people are planning on going, they're already going to have had the ticket by now. They're going to have sorted that. Let's get into a question here from Alan. Absolutely, I do think Dozzell was missed, and I don't know why he was dropped. He's been, for me, one of our best players recently, with that link with him and Paik in the midfield. I'm not too sure with the double substitutions that he's done with taking them both off was stupid in the last few games. I think it's just ruined our midfield. But did he do this to not have that effect, so he can't take them both off at the same time? No, I don't think so. I don't know why Dozzell was missing, and I really think, yes, he was a huge miss for us the other day, because he breaks up the play and he does that quick turn and pass and move forward. I really think we missed him. And what's happened with Dembele, I think Tony Mowbray and Mark Venus want players that are going to track back, that are going to put the effort in. Now, Dembele is absolutely great going forward at times. Like, he does get a little bit greedy sometimes when he's having a bit of a game, but as we've seen many times this season already, that he can actually put the ball in the net and do the things all set up that we need him to do. But fundamentally, he doesn't defend pretty much ever at all. And that is what Tony Mowbray wants. He wants everybody playing out their socks and getting the support of the fans behind them and really picking the team up. If everybody's pushing, everybody needs to push. That's as simple as that. If you don't press as a team, you leave gaps. And I think that's what we get a lot with Dembele. And I think we've not really seen him playing to his best because he's having to defend. And I'm not too sure he's got the right attitude to be able to adapt to defense. I think he just wants to attack all of the time. But let me know if you think any of that is wrong, or you have any slight differences on that. Let me know, and we'll go over it, and we'll have happy to have other people's point of view put across. This getting more bums on seats is absolutely what they need to be doing. We need those people in the seats to cheer on the lads. Look at the difference it was at Sunderland. We literally, as a fan base, pulled that result out, and that was fundamental for us going forward. We have got more home games left than we have away games, which is a huge benefit for us. But we really need to make St Andrews a fortress. St Andrews at Knighthead Park a fortress to go forward. The board, I think, are starting to realise that we're not going to be playing the football that we need to be able to charge good ticket prices for them. We need to be able to get in a little bit cheaper and get bums on seats, and that is the most fundamental part. Season ticket holder here, I'm not bothered if we just, for want of a better word, balls out the cost of the next 6 home games and really almost give them away. But let's not give them away. That's the wrong terminology. I don't want anybody getting offended. Let's put real good offers on to make sure we've got people coming in for all of those games. Let's fill the stadium. Let's cheer the lads on, because I think we're getting into a situation where we're going to be needed just as much as anything else. And playing in an empty stadium when we really need to win in some of these games is going to be crucial. And playing in an empty stadium isn't going to be able to do it. I think we, as season ticket holders, have already got our money's worth out of the season for what we've paid and saved. So let's just get as many people in as possible. Yeah, not a massive fan of this as well, but it does allow them to pre-plan things for stewarding and stuff like that. So more people buy tickets in advance, the better. But there's plenty of people on our Twitters, social medias, Facebook and that that will be able to give people references if they want them. You just got to ask, and the people will be happy to share. I'm more than confident at that. Exactly this, Gary. Dembele is a counter-attacking player, and we used him really well to do that. Let other people defend, and we get the luxury of having him with his nifty feet and his speed and his little bag of tricks to go in and do the damage behind. So that will be better suited for Dembele's style. However, at the moment, we are playing on the front foot. So you need to be able to close. You need to do that. But then if you need to track back and follow your guy, you need to follow him. It's as simple as that. And you're a professional footballer. You need to do what's best for the team, not just what's best for Sarika Dembele in that situation. And I don't know how players don't adapt to a system. If that's what you've got to do, that's what you've got to do. Like if I went into work and my manager said, "Oh, can you do this?" and I was just like, it's not really the way I prefer to do it. That just isn't the way it works, is it, in a normal world? So I don't know why footballers get away with this so much. If you've got to track back. It's as simple as that. And there's no ifs, buts, and maybes about it. Just get on with it, do what you need to do, and do your job. But as it says here, he's a luxury player, too lazy, and we saw that against Southampton, and we can't afford to carry him at the moment. We absolutely fundamentally can't afford to carry anybody at the moment, let alone Sarika Dembele or any attacking players. We need every single person doing a Lukas Jutkiewicz every single game. We need 110% from everybody. But I think because we've got made up of nearly everybody leaving at the end of the season, whether they're on loan or their contract's expired, I'm just hoping they're going to have that fight in them. And I think this is why the crowd is so important, that even if they're starting to lag out a little bit from not having the effort from doing that, then we really need to be able to be cheering them on ourselves and trying to put them so they cannot not play on the front foot and put everything in, because we'll be letting them know exactly what we think along the way. So I think it's going to be difficult enter the season, but I think we've got the advantage with the home games. It's now just let's get the bums on seats and get it sorted. Again, there's going to be plenty of people using this, so we need to work together to get the bums on the seats, and that's the prerogative of the offer, obviously. So 2 for £30 for the next 2 games. That's essentially buy one get one free, but you need to know a season ticket. That's the only loss out there with the club. I think we need to really. I'd be doing, if it was me and it was my choice, I'd be putting out you can pick 4 games, I don't know, for 70 quid, £75, 4 games. You can choose which 4 of the home games remaining you come to. You select 4 and you can do that. And it allows people that little bit more flexibility. Yes, that would be really hard to actually manage, but I don't know how they do it, but that's what they should be doing. And they should be locking people into more than just one game. And I think that from a business point of view, that makes the most amount of sense. So from a business point, you put people in for the longest amount of period. And this is what I've said several times on here before, as to they're going to be ramping up the individual game prices. But yeah, I think the season ticket prices will come right down, and that will allow us to get more people into every single game. And you'll be rewarded a lot more to be a season ticket holder. So you'll have more people attending every game rather than just occasional games. And that's essentially where the club needs to head to get their infrastructure in place. So that's where we are. Putting the Duke on at the end for 10 minutes is ridiculous. Now, I'm in 2 minds about this. I absolutely love Duke. Give the guy a statue. Give him whatever he wants next season to stay another season. If he wants to go into the coaching side, let's help him do that. if he wants to go into more the scouting or the thing the way Craig Gardner's gone, let him do that. Let's use our club. The guy has come out in his interview this week and said, "This feels like my club." That's huge. But he's not a 90-minute player. We all know that. But then some of the players we've now got on, the creative players, it's almost like we're playing like we want to pass the ball into the net. Where Duke, as we all know, and the perfect example of it the other day, you put that ball in the air, the guy will head it in the net, and it's not an issue at all if you're putting those crosses in. But the way we've been playing recently is more passing it around and trying to be nitpicky and passing it in and then shooting from wherever, rather than crossing the ball in and letting that happen. So I don't fundamentally know how that would work. I think 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes at the end of the game is Duke's best option. He can come on, he can give his absolute all for that 15 minutes. And even in fact, you see him, he's absolutely dead when he comes off. And I don't know if he'd be needing to come on for any more. That's a tough one, really. I'd love to see Duke on more, but he's getting to a point now where he's not the impact player for a long period of time that we need him to. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about Juki? In terms of, he's a legend and we should give him what he wants, but is anybody in the chat giving us more than 10, 15 minutes of Juki with the way we're playing? Because it would have to fundamentally change something the way we're playing, because we can't press as high with Duke on. Yes, he chases down, but he hasn't got that Miyoshi or the Stansfield speed for the press. So that's a tough one for me. I think Juki is now getting to the point in his career where he's happy to do the 10 to 20 minutes, put it on, and if we need him, come on and do the job. And he's proven many a times that he can do that. So it's a tough one for me. Yes, I do think the players are missing Tony Mowbray. The guy doesn't sit down at games, really. He's there constantly coaching. You do this exact thing. You do this exact thing. You do that exact thing. I think that's going to be a bit of a difference. I think it was Bakuna that said in the interview that he did that the players have all been a little bit shocked from losing Mowbray as well. I don't think that would come to a surprise from anyone, really. And I do believe we're missing him. I think Venus has the knowledge. I just don't know if he's got that managerial side of things that you also need to back it up. So he may be able to come with all the ideas, but that man management and all that sort of stuff. So I think the sooner we can get Tony back, the better. Obviously, don't want him to rush back too soon and still be ill or end up having longer effects on whatever it is going on for him. But for me, I think that's a huge point for the players that we're down on. We are going to get my brother in and get him into chat alongside things. So the King of Waffle will be joining us shortly, and that's something you can look forward to if you want to say that. But we'll go through things. Obviously, we've got lots of comments coming in. So we need our best 11 on the game rather than just rotate so much. Here he is. Speaking of which, hello. We need our best 11 on the pitch for every game rather than rotate so much. If that brings us points to be safe, then they can experiment. I'm not sure we've had our best 11 fit enough, or whether Tony Mowbray knows what the best 11 is. Gary, realistically, looking back, it's still fairly early days into his time with the players. However, I think we can see from what he's out the players when he's been there. He's been really, really, really good with what he's got. And the rotation, I think we're trying too much to adapt to other people and the way their style of play, rather than just playing our style of play and letting them adapt to it. So yeah, that's what I believe with that. I think rotation is important throughout the season, but yeah, I'm not too sure that we've got a solid 11, and the injuries just keep changing and stuff. Josh, you are repeating. Yeah, so I'm not too sure that he'd have chosen to go to. We'll just get rid of him for a minute, and he can come back on in a minute. That was hard for me to think. I'm not too sure the injuries have allowed us to play the players that we needed to play and give us our strongest 11. And I think that's the issue with the team at the moment. Gary, would you be able to solidly pick, with the injuries we've had and stuff, an 11 that you would have picked most games that haven't been injured and stuff? It's interesting to know. I love this sort of stuff. We got this. Yes. Again, if we played to Juki's strengths, he would do well, but that's the old way of playing football now. Yes, but as we saw the other day, the old way does work at times. Route 1 can be effective, but you need to play to the strengths. You lose the other aspect of what I think Tony Mowbray is trying to get out of his team. And being completely honest, I think we need Duke as just an impact sub, a bit like the old Stern John kind of thing, where he comes on last 10, 15 minutes. Kevin Phillips at the end of his career as well, just comes on. You have hope that every time that ball goes in the box, that it might go in the goal. And Duke gives us that. If the ball's going in the air, I don't think there's anybody better in the Championship that you'd want to be heading it at the goal. If it comes to his feet, yeah, we sometimes have issues, but his head is a huge asset to our club. He has done so much for our club over the years, and I think it's important to just be able to play to what he feels like he can do, because he won't want to let the side down either and go on for 45 minutes and not be able to do it, because he's just such a team player. He just wants to win, and that's just as it is. Martin, 40 years is a long time, and that must feel like so much longer at points. But being our own worst enemy, that is exactly the motto of being a Birmingham City fan now, is we need to be able to ruin ourselves, because otherwise we'd be unstoppable, and we need to give other people a chance. No, we fundamentally are almost always the downfall. And if it isn't us, then it is the referees, because God, these last few games, the refereeing standards, we all know the refereeing standards in the Championship are horrific anyway. And I was talking to my friend the other day, and he was saying about VAR in the Premier League, saying, it's got to go. Personally, I'd be begging for the last few games. We've had the handball goal would have been ruled off. That penalty the other day for Stansfield, where he's just rugby tackled him in the box. How are these things not going in our favour at the moment? And it just feels a very Blues to do that. And we've been getting out of the standard good old Blues. We were getting out of that with the new owners, but it feels like it's slowly creeping back in. And you can see that on the socials as well, when you're looking through Twitter or Facebook or anything along those lines. That negativity, that slight negativity that's with the fans, is constantly coming in again now, and it's difficult one to just. We had that big splash of new owners, new settings, almost same ground but looks completely different. But we've had that where it's come in and it's been completely different, and that was a nice feeling. We had a nice feeling around the ground. Everybody was positive. However, that seems to have slowly been weaning off, and now we're back in a relegation battle. We're no better off than we have been for the last 10 years. However, I think this squad of players we've got now is the best we've had to challenge this, and that's the most interesting thing: is can we pull out of this, and can we do what we need to do? Yes, let's give Duke a testimonial match. I think it'd probably be a sellout as well, to be honest. Is just anything along those lines for that guy. Give him a testimonial, give him a sellout, and get that done. 5 at the back away from home, in my opinion, to get at least a point. Who are the 5 we're sticking at the back? Do we have 5 fit defenders? I don't think we do. So it's we're struggling to put 4 out at the moment. I don't think 5 at the back will work. I don't think changing a system will work. I think we've been playing really good football. We've been creating opportunities and doing that. We've been our own downfall in silly mistakes, red cards, and then obviously referees supporting different teams and all that. But we'll pass the referees. It's been 5 at the back. I don't think that's the option, is to change the layout. Josh, what do you think about that?
I don't think Birmingham have ever suited 5 at the back.
Okay. And do you think changing the system would work in any way, let alone 5 at the back, let alone anything else?
4-4-2 is how I'd go. I think we need to bulk in the attack with 2 strikers, have someone like Jutkiewicz with Stansfield that could be a bit more predominant. Last couple of games, we played a lot of balls up in the air, just hoofing the ball, and I think that suits Duke's style better.
Yeah.
I think 4-4-2, just a traditional formation, and just try and give it a go that way, where you can still push with your attackers and have like a 4 as you're attacking, but I don't think 5 at the back would ever work.
Yeah, I was having that conversation about 4-4-2 earlier, actually. It's old school formation, but sometimes you got to go back to basics. And I think that's just like, we're playing good football, we're creating the chances and stuff, but we're not scoring, or we're leaking goals. So fundamentally, if you go back to basics, you can still, like you said, you can attack with several more up front and then play through, and have that old Duke and Shea connection that we used to have, but with Stano instead of Shea would be a good way to look at it. Interesting question, Blue Shadow. I'm going to answer this. I'm going to read it out. So, who's to blame for our downfall? Is it the players on the board for having Rooney in? Is it the players, or is it just a damaged club from the days of Carson Young? And I'm going to say one little sentence. You can't polish a turd, right? We have been a turd for a while now. And essentially what they are doing is polishing a turd, making the ground look pretty and making it look a little bit better, and a few fireworks and that sort of stuff. However, fundamentally, the foundations are similar. So it's not going to be done in half a season, or just over half a season since they took over. I think we really need to stay up to maximize the difference with the owners. But I think we're still damaged. I think we just need to survive. Yes, bringing in Rooney wasn't ideal, and it was a lot of games where they could have reacted. But as a business, you'd stick by your choice, but you get to a point where it is too much. They reacted fairly hastily in getting a new manager in after sacking him, so they didn't beat around the bush. They put their effort in, and they went, "Yep, hands up, fair enough." They said when they come in, they don't know too much about football, so it is, in my opinion, Gary Cook. However, all this calls to get rid of Gary Cook is stupid, in my opinion. People make mistakes, right? You're coming in, you're just trying to do the best for the club. A lot of people saw Rooney wasn't the best, but for me, they've done everything great. They took a risk, it didn't pay off. But the fundamentals of why they wanted to take that risk were, over the last 13 years, the teams that got promoted don't play counter-attacking football. Simple as that. And we were playing counter-attacking. John Eustace didn't want to play counter-attacking, so they brought someone in that could. Yes, it was Gary Cook's mate, and it didn't work out. But if you look at the style of play we're playing now with Mowbray and his method of football, then you're having that. We're creating the chances. We just need better players to play it, in my opinion. Josh, what would you say about this?
I don't really know where Carson Young comes into it. We've had two separate owners since then. I think fundamentally what screwed us over was Harry Redknapp. He came in that season, spent money willy-nilly, and put us behind on FFP. And ever since, I think we found it hard to get out of that debt with them. We then thought we were out of it, spent some money, got a points deduction, thought, oh yeah, it's all over now. And now I said to you the other day, I don't think people have realised we've still got a 2-point deduction to come at the end of the season. So that's what's not going to help us. But I think FFP has been a massive issue because we haven't been able to buy players to replace. Yes, okay, we sold Bellingham for a little bit of money, but that didn't positively affect FFP. Whereas coming into the summer now, if we can stay up, we're going to have a strong summer, hopefully. We can buy players, and maybe that is a turnaround. But I'd fundamentally say everyone from the board to Harry Redknapp when he was in charge, I think that's realistically what screwed us over.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that, and we're still paying the price for it now. Thankfully, this summer is where we get a few of those final contracts off the books, but it's been a long time coming, and it's a shame we haven't been able to shift some of those players. But because they were who they were when they brought him in, we were always going to struggle to sell Scott Hogan for the money he's on when he performs the way he does, for example. That's one of the most difficult things. I just want to ask you, as obviously you've done your refereeing badges, about this question. Sanderson's red card, we've seen it back several times.
Yes.
As a referee, is that a red card?
I think I've looked a lot on Twitter. I've seen 4 or 5 different angles of it. I've seen someone put a fan video up that they'd seen it. I think, yes, it is a red card. Only because if you watch how he goes, his leg's up at knee height and then he brings it down just before contact. If he's not bringing that knee down, he's taking that bloke's knee out. And I think the referees looked at it, not necessarily the actual tackle's dangerous. The way he's gone into the tackle is in a violent conduct way, is the way they send it off. But it never looks good. You look at VAR and you slow down things and you look at slow motions and stuff. That never helps, and still pictures never help. We watched that in person, and I was like, that is never a red card. I looked stupid because I turned around to the lads behind me and was like, you're absolutely deluded if you think that's a red card. Watching it back, yeah, it's a red card. He's gone into the tackle in a malicious way. Maybe he didn't mean it. There's no intent. So maybe you could appeal just for a yellow card. But I think if I'm the referee on the pitch in that situation, I'd be sending off as well.
And how do you react? Just going to put this up. BCFC Ireland. Yeah. The reason we do this is we do have lives ourselves outside of this. So 8:30 is a good time for all of us, and getting work done and stuff, and out the way. And as you can hear from Josh's side, they have children of their own, so it's getting guests on and stuff. So yeah, we're all living lives outside of this. We thank you for coming on and thank you for being here repeatedly and commenting, and we'll try and get you on as many times as we can. But back to the red card. If that's a red card, how is the tackle on? Was it Bakuna? How is that not a red card later in the game?
Which tackle?
Where he comes in with his elbow.
That is 100% a red card. I don't know how that's not been given. That, to me, is where you look at the game where the referee made a mistake. That is the tackle made a mistake. The other one that I want to bring back to and talk about, that a lot of people, I've seen it on Twitter. Do you remember the Buchanan tackle against Leicester earlier in the season? their player come in about knee height and took him out.
Yeah.
I've seen quite a few people sitting there saying if the FA aren't going to allow us to appeal it and successfully appeal it,
Yeah.
and that Sanderson turning is a red card because he's gone in a malicious way, how is that Buchanan tackle not been penalised? The fact that he's gone in at his knee, you see the still shot, his studs are up at his knee, and people are sitting there going, how's that not a red card? There's very much a lot of inconsistency. I know people are going to hate me in the comments for saying this, but I can't wait for VAR to come into the Championship.
Yeah.
Yes, it slows down a game, but you get stupid decisions like that. And I heard you talk about it earlier, the Stansfield penalty against Millwall.
Yeah.
How that's not a red card. Not a red card, a penalty. I don't know. I think we need VAR in to start this.
That handball for the goal the other day where he just elbows it in. Oh, man.
Yeah. But you've got that, but then also, Tommy mentioned it on the watch along on Saturday. The West Brom game as well, where the guy has Kipre has literally saved it on the line. VAR needs to be brought into the Championship for this reason, and I think people are going to hate it, but it's making the game better. It's just the inconsistency between the leagues that needs to be sorted out.
Yeah, I agree. Again, we lost the first half in the midfield to Millwall. Yeah, for me, that was because Dozell wasn't there with Paik. That is the strongest midfield. Again, don't understand why he wasn't there from the start. And I don't understand why he's took him off at 60, 70 minutes in the last few games before that. That's our strongest midfield. And when we've not had them both side by side, we've looked weak in midfield, in all honesty. So I'd be focusing on that, because then if our midfield is strong and we're able to close down and push higher and we are tackling like we are, we've got that turnaround ball mid defending. Our defenders don't have to do a lot. And I think one of our biggest problems is giving Mark Roberts or any of the defenders too much time on the ball. He is, because all he wants to do is use his tractor of a foot and smash it along. And that is only going to work if we've got Duke up front. And then it's if he manages to kick it in the direction of Duke, which is obviously another issue with our defence and Ruddy and stuff, is having too much time. For me, Dozell and Paik just allow us that quick turn of pace, turn and go. And they give us that defensive press as well, where they're not really getting through to the defence. And I think that's the biggest difference in the midfield.
Dozell, I read something online earlier that potentially he's got a lot of fatigue still because he hasn't played this many games in 6-7 months, whatever it is. So apparently it's a lot of fatigue. That's why he was on the bench for Millwall, was just more tired from playing so many games and the effort he's putting in. But I sit there and I think you're paid thousands. You have all the best technology, machines, fitness stuff around you. How are you getting fatigued after 60 minutes? How are you fatigued to the point I understand playing 4 or 5 games in the space of like 2 weeks, but you're coming off 60 minutes every game because you're too tired. And there's a few times where he's looked like he's blowing, and it's like maybe that is an issue with him. Why QPR? Like I've seen a few QPR fans saying that he was lazy when we brought him. He's the opposite to that. He works his socks off every game, but maybe they meant it as he can't quite last the 90 minutes every game, and that might be an issue with him.
Now, this is an interesting comment from Gary. This is where we're missing Bielik at centre back because of the ball playing ability. For me, that's a little bit true. However, he's also not a defender. So actually people are being marked. So it's a tough one for me, that where you need someone that actually does both. I think we've either got a ball player or a defender. Kevin Long, is that what you just said?
That's why we should not have got rid of Kevin Long.
Kevin's here. He's not anymore. It's one of those where I think in the summer, that's fundamentally the area we need. We need a ball playing defender. And I'm going to compare them versus Liverpool players, but you got someone like Virgil van Dijk, right? Obviously, he's never going to be at Birmingham, but someone like that up and coming, where absolutely solid in the box, can defend, tracks his man, is vocal, and he can pass a ball. He doesn't just kick it long for the sake of, oh, I don't want it anymore, I'm just going to boot it. He can pass it short, and he'd be able to give it take and dozzle, or he'd be able to ping it wide to the wings where they're waiting for the ball. And we saw it under Eustace, actually, where Sanderson was popping balls out to the wings, and the wingers were both on the touchline, and he knew where they were going to be. And because we were sat back, that was our counter way out, and it looked really good in those 2 games before he was sacked. And I think that's where Peake coming in. He's now controlling people before he does stuff. If you're at the games, you can see him tell someone, you need to go over there and stay there, because when I get the ball, I want to turn and pass at you. Literally 2 minutes later, he does that exact same thing, and they're there ready to go. And I think that's where that sort of player is going to be really interesting for us next season. Hopefully, should we stay up, and we need to get more players in that use that and can play with the ball. For me,
I think Bielik, to drop him into that defensive role, we've had many conversations, the reason as to why Mowbray wasn't happy that he kept going backwards. Yes, okay, it gives him the point of view. He's at the back, he's got to go forward. But I think what we miss is Bielik being at the back, and someone like Peake. You watch him against Millwall, he is that Modric kind of midfielder or Kroos kind of midfielder that will come into defence and dictate the play where it's got to go. And he'll find a short pass here, make space, run round, and then he looks out wide. And I think that's a player we've missed for a while. You've got your players like Sunjic that just run around like a headless chicken and stuff like that. The last player I can remember that probably played like this for Blues, you're going back to someone like Barry Ferguson.
Yeah.
And the way that he got the ball in the middle, Peake doesn't look big, but he can stand his ground. He drops in to get the ball. He puts all his effort to follow the play. He can spray a pass. He can shoot a ball. I think someone like Bielik at centre half plays well with Peake there, because Peake can kind of go, you know how I play. I will cover you, but you just give me the ball when you get it. I'll dictate play. And Bielik needs a play like that. If he's got someone like Sanderson or Roberts next to him, someone that's a bit more experienced in the Championship that knows how to play a game, I think he's a bit better. Someone like Iwu, who's still not quite sure on the league, I don't think he's best to be partnered with a Roberts or a Bielik. But if you've got Bielik and Sanderson back in that thing, and you've got Peake in that middle bit, and Dazau and Bakuna or Miyoshi or Dembele or whoever played in that front bit there, where he can dictate where it's going to go, I think potentially once that settles down a bit, that could be dangerous.
I think this is going to sound really weird because I'm not a massive fan of him anyway, but you could give Bielik sort of I can't think of his name. It's just gone out of my head. Harry Maguire role for England. Do you know, during the World Cup, right? He's there to head everything out as it comes in. However, the amount of times teams backed off him and he was able to bring the ball into midfield and then pass out, but someone else filled in behind him. I think that might be something we could do with him, but I think now he's gone back there, he's also that scared of being the one to give the ball away, if I'm honest.
There's a few games we played with him at centre-half, and what he did when we pressed high, which is where we were playing well, pressing high, he's taken the ball off their striker at halfway line, and he's not scared to make that 10, 15-yard run. But that's only when he's got like someone, like I said, like a Sanderson or Roberts next to his experience. When we played with him and Iwu at the back, he looked too scared to make a movement, because he was like, if I go forward here, I don't actually trust the guy that I'm with to cover my back.
Yeah.
Where I feel like with a Sanderson or a Roberts there that will cover him, Sanderson gives him free roam. If you want to go run 10, 15 yards, you can. And I've seen it in a couple of games where Peake's dropped back into, like, we played a 3 at the back. He's dropped in there. You've got Sunjic, if he's playing, he'll drop into there because he'll cover that. Or Buchanan pushes over to the left and you play it around like that. James can drop in. I think Bielik having that freedom where it's right, you're at the back, you're going to help dictate play. But if you get that ball and you've got 15 yards to run into the space, make the space, get composed, make that pass.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect sum up for that. We don't need to go much further. Martin, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for subscribing, and hopefully there's a lot more content to come that you're happy with, and everybody else do the same. Ollie Burke, we're not going to waste much time on this guy. He's a social media influencer. He's not a footballer. In hindsight, he needs to go. Yes. I personally would have
pack his bag.
I would have terminated his contract in the window, but maybe there wasn't an option for that. And that's the biggest thing. Gary, we are both in agreement with you with this. Can't see why they let Long go. Neither can we. We saw the announcement. We phoned each other straight away and we were like, why? You always knew Bielik, Sanderson and Roberts were going to be gone at the same time. Yes, because they're made of paper. They were fundamentally injury prone, and if you're putting them in at centre defence or reckless challenges, you're always going to get something. We were always going to be short. We were short anyway, I think, even with Long. To be honest, it never looked solid, but he was the best header of the ball.
He was the most composed defender we had.
Composed, yeah. This comment here, I want to go through. There are some ball-greedy players in our team, some that dance around players and lose it, and a goalie like Ruddy who kicks it and you think, what the hell? How can we change their mindset? Honestly, I don't think you can. And this is where Tony Mowbray is talking about in his team selections, where he wants artists and soldiers. And I think we have got one or the other. We haven't got someone like you said earlier, going back for a reference for Modric, which does both. Will get stuck in, do tackles, or Barry Ferguson, absolutely crunch someone 1 minute and then play Xavi Iniesta style balls the next. We haven't got anybody like that. And I think we're going to see a fundamentally different team next season if we can stay up. Either way, it's going to be fundamentally different because most of them are going anyway. But the goalkeeping situation infuriates me, how terrible he is at kicking for a professional that has played for so long. However, the defence also don't help by just about passing it to him sometimes. And then on the other hand, he has too long to think about it. If he thinks about where he's kicking it, he's absolutely terrible. But if he just kicks it, he sees a run, kicks it, he should go. And he should stop doing these drop kicks out of his hands, because I don't think any of them stay in play. So for me, yeah, we lose possession way too easy on this sort of thing. We've got a small team up front, really. If you've got the artists on, why are we kicking it long? That doesn't make sense for me either. Yes, occasionally, if it has to go long, we have to play it long, then fine. But fundamentally, if you've got the artists on, we're playing on the ground football, and that's the way it should stay. What do you think on that?
I've got a question I want to ask you and everyone else watching. You just said there, Ruddy's kicking's awful. He's got time to think about it. He's dreadful. His passes never go where he wants. We all know Ruddy is quality at saving balls.
Mm-hmm.
Why do people hate Etheridge so much when all his problem ever was his distribution? Ruddy's now just as bad. Why are people so against Etheridge playing?
For me, it'd be recent form. In the games he has played, he's just made mistakes. He's a liability with his hands. He's a great shot stopper, but coming out, commanding your box and taking charge of defence isn't something he does. And like we've said before, they need a leader. I think Ruddy shouts at the players and puts them in place at times, and that helps and solidifies things. I don't think you get that from Everidge. You don't get that leader at the back in terms of it. But he's also not that great with his feet. Like, yeah,
But neither's Ruddy at the moment.
Yeah, but you put the better shot stopper in then, don't you? Which is Ruddy.
Yeah.
For me, what highlights the difference in what we've got versus other teams was actually against Hull the other day. They play through their goalkeeper so much, and he gives them so many options. He's on the corner of the box over there getting the ball. He passes it across. He runs over to the other side. He was then like almost in the middle of his box and the halfway line at times when they were really full attack. That's fundamentally, I think, what we need in a goalkeeper is someone that is actually a footballer that can stop shots. And I don't even know his name, but I was quite impressed with him the other day. And when we played in the previous games, he plays as part of a defence when he's not having to. Yeah, and that's essentially what we need in this team is someone that can pass the ball, and the players aren't scared to pass him the ball, and only go there as a last resort. I think that's the difference. We're not even getting onto the subjects we needed to yet, but yeah.
Just to comment on the greedy players, you want to talk about the dance around and they lose the ball, and you want to. How do you get that mindset change? That is a very hard mindset to change because Dembele's basically trained. You get the ball, you run until you can score. The problem at the moment is him and Bakuna are the same. They'll shoot the impossible goals because they want the goal of the season. They want the best goals.
Yeah.
Rather than you get to the edge of the box, just have a shot. Everyone's trying to. I get Stansfield is the striker. Stansfield score goals, but people are trying to set Stansfield up too much. But Dembele is trying to do flicks and tricks, looking for Stansfield, and realizing, oh, he's got 4 players around him. Oh, I've lost the ball. Just take a touch, be greedy, get a shot in. And I think players need to be told this. Don't be scared to have a shot. Just get a shot in. If it goes over, goes wide, hits the post, hits the keeper, saves it, fans aren't going to be as annoyed that you've had a go rather than you running down the wing every time and losing the ball after you've tried to take on 3 people and realise that you're never going to get there. Have a shot, have a go. And I think that's the mindset they've got to get into them is have the confidence to shoot. If you miss, you miss. We can work on that. But you're going to have that one where you're going to have a shot. It's going to take a deflection or it's going to hit the keeper. It's going to fall to another player. It's going to fall to a Stansfield who's just going to be there to go, yeah, cheers for that. Tap that in. Sound.
Yeah. And that's why he's on the field to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, not the one I wanted. NS Blues. Hiya. Do you think Mark Venus is good enough to be seen out the season if Tony can't? Hopefully Tony is fine, but could it be a reality that he won't be coming back at all? For me, I'm going to comment on this because I think we've played really good football. We've been unlucky with a few things. Again, player mistakes and referees not doing us any favours recently, but actually it's not bad to watch at times. And I think we've seen a real directional change from the John Eustace way to the nobody having a clue way of Wayne Rooney to now. Is he good enough to be seen out this season? I don't think we've got a choice. I don't think we're going to be able to bring anybody in. And let's be honest, the better Tony Mowbray gets, the more he's going to want to be involved. The guy absolutely loves football. And Venus has said several times, he's been in contact a lot of times. He's been speaking to this, and this is just after surgery. So you're telling me as soon as he's back up to a situation where he's going to be able to be in and around players and on the pitch and just watching, he's going to be there. And I don't think it's going to be like a sick note situation where he's going to stay off and off and off. I think he's going to have more of a, I'm going to compare sports now, but like a rugby mentality of like, I just need to get back out there. Like football's a game of 90 minutes pretending you're hurt, and rugby's a game of 80 minutes pretending you're not. I think Tony Mowbray's got that second side of things of, yeah, we'll be fine. Let's go. I need to get there. He'll see what it's doing to the team, and he knows it's only him that's going to take the word for it at the end anyway. So I think it's only going to get better, if I'm honest. Josh, what thoughts on this?
I think you look at everyone in the world of football. Mark Venus is possibly the only guy in the world that knows exactly what Tony Mowbray would think. He's probably not sat at home recovering. He's probably sat at home on the phone to Mark Venus every day going, try this with them and try that with them. There's a comment here by BCFC Ireland that says about Tyler Roberts, and I think this is what helps Mark Venus. You've got certain players on the pitch that will create chances. Tyler Roberts gets the ball. He doesn't score goals, and he's awful at shooting. We all have this issue. The problem he comes in is as a striker and doesn't score goals. But if he's coming in, getting the ball, running down the wing, making passes with Dembele, Bakuna, Stansfield, and we're getting them chances, he should be in the team. I think Mark Venus, we ain't going to bring anyone else in to replace him. Let's put it that way. They're not going to spend the money to bring someone in temporarily because, as I said it before, I'd be seriously annoyed if my job brought someone in to replace me whilst I was having surgery. I'm not going to be happy.
They've got the international window soon. So
international break.
Yeah, so you've got a period there where he may be weaning himself back in that sort of area. Absolutely loves football. He's going to be watching all the teams. If anything, this is probably going to give him a good reconnaissance period where he's going to be able to sit and watch loads of football and then come in with like, yeah, when we go to Leicester, we need to do this. When we go to the Cardiff game, we need to be able to do this. When we go to Coventry, Rotherham, Huddersfield, Norwich, wherever we need to go, I've watched them. This is the way they play. Maybe we need to try this. And I think he could maybe come in with some fresh ideas because he's had that time to sit at home and watch football.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I think he's got obviously Gary's put it here about him coming back and enjoying international break. I think Tony Mowbray's not sat at home right now necessarily watching what we're doing. I think he's sat there and he's looking at, for example, the weekend, how Middlesbrough played, and ringing Mark Venus and going, Middlesbrough do it like this. This is their main player. This is who their star player is. This is the person that touched the ball the most. This is the person that run the most. Target him, work on training, get that sorted. He'll watch a Watford game and go, right, Watford's dangerous player is this player, and their best player is that player, and their keeper likes this to play out like this, and their defenders are weaknesses like this. He's now got the chance to watch other teams.
Yeah.
And go, okay, here's ideas for that game. Here's ideas for that game. I think it's a bit of a bad situation. Well, not bad situation. It's a bit of a. I want to put it without swearing. Bit of a crappy situation to be in. We can't do a lot about it. But I put it into our group chat yesterday. I think the one thing that is affecting the players most is fans. I put about a post in the group chat of someone singing that get about last game of the season singing "Let's get Gary Cook out the club."
Yeah,
I don't think he's necessarily doing anything wrong, and I think the fans sometimes are to blame because they turn too quick. But I trust him to do what he needs to do.
I was doing that earlier on when we were just before you come on. I don't know if you've also seen that the club have announced the 2 for 30 for the next 2 games as well, which is huge. And you saying about the fans, we need to be using things like that and these incentives to get behind the team, get the ground full, be the 12th man, rather than being that negative influence, which a few years ago, Harley Dean actually mentioned it when he was captaining. He said, the ground feels so toxic at times. It's easy when he was being questioned about why we were winning more away. And it was because sometimes the ground feels so toxic, it's actually less pressure to play away because of our fans. And that was a big thing that he said back then. It didn't go down very well with the fans, of course, but you can absolutely see that. And you can hear it sometimes when people are giving it away and everybody in the crowd's like, oh, like every time you're shit, blah, blah, blah. It's, it can be a negative atmosphere, but also if we can get everybody in and they actually get behind the team from moment one and we can carry them through, I think we can do really well with this. We need to get onto a few things that we were planning on doing. We're an hour in, and I've not touched on a single one of them. So, first thing we want to talk about is the announcement of pre-season. So we want to get a few people's opinions on this. Going to Austria. Now, Blues haven't been there for a few years. A big surprise to a lot of people. Personally thought it'd be America and you'd be linking up with British Legion. What are they called? Blues Legion. Legion. What? Yeah. And you'd be linking up with them and that sort of stuff. But it's nice to know that we're planning enough time to allow people to go. We're going to be heading out. What are people's thoughts on Austria and going out there? And most importantly, who's coming? So that's what we're talking about. They've announced one game out there. Interesting timing, though, for it, because it's right at the end of the Euros. So, like the semi-finals, the Blues are in Austria from the 8th to the 14th of July. The semi-finals of the Euros are on the 9th and the 10th. And then the final is on the 14th. So they've only got a couple of game day windows to actually put a game where it won't overlap with anything in the Euros. But that's going to be interesting. And what's your opinion on going to Austria, Josh?
Just before quickly, MZA King has just put a comment saying Harley Dean was right and he's on Tilted Talk tomorrow. I would suggest people have to listen to that because I reckon that could be a very good show. As for Austria, I think Blues have been smart because there's a lot of Blues fans that we know. For example, Redditch Blues, a lot of you out there will see them. Their flag is everywhere. They're at every home game. They go to every England home away. They were at the Qatar World Cup. Now, you're telling them, England are in the semi-finals, potentially make a final, but you can travel 6 hours to Austria, just drive across the border, you can watch Birmingham City play pre-season, and then drive back for the final. That is going to make a lot of Blues fans sit there and go, you know what, actually, try and get semi-finals, final tickets, we'll go to both. We'll do both. Because they're going to put the friendly on like a Friday or a Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those. The final's on a Sunday. So it's going to give enough people to watch.
The game will either be on the 11th, 12th, or 13th. So you'd go with you'd hedge your bets on the 12th because you got the semi-finals are on the 10th. Gives people a day to travel in. The game on the 12th, it gives people a day to travel back out for the final if that's what they are planning.
Yep.
Would be a perfect time to do it. I know we are talking about doing it, so that's quite exciting, and hopefully England do live up to our expectations as well.
It's just going to be very hostile, though. England winning the Euros for the first time ever in Germany. Going to be a bit of an interesting one.
Yeah, but
we'll say that for another podcast.
A long way away yet, and that's off topic. But I think Austria is important. And Gary says, does it matter to fans? Yeah, fans travel with the team regardless of where they went. Last year, they just upped and announced, we're going to Spain tomorrow. Like, fans were like, okay. There wasn't a lot of notice. It wasn't tomorrow, but there wasn't.
Do you know what the worst thing about that is, though? I saw something earlier that said about this, that last year they gave 3-day notice to where they were travelling. Yeah. And at one of the games, there was still 1,500 Blues fans turned up.
Yeah.
So that shows that fans are happy to go pre-season. I think that made the owners look at it and go, you know what, pre-season needs to be something where the fans can come and have a look at the new players. They can come and see what the team's all about. They can come and have a look at the new kits and the playing styles and all this. But we need to be giving them more notice. We can't be telling them 3 days before, by the way, here's a £1,500 trip, you've got to pay for it. Where they're telling us now, 4-5 months in advance. People are like, yeah, right, I'll save up. Maybe I'll buy it the week before or a couple of weeks beforehand. But they've actually got time to save up and go. And I think the owners are looking at ways that we can have more fans at pre-season. And doing something like this where they've announced it this early, the ideal if they announce the game or whereabout in Austria they're going,
Yeah.
It's not like a different part of Birmingham. It'd be helpful if they said a different where in Austria they're going, but I think it's an ideal situation. And yes, fans will care because they will want to go. Fans will use it as I get a week's holiday and I get to watch the Blues play. So.
The interesting thing for me is, now this is going to be very speculative. However, Birmingham City owners, right, want massive sponsorships from us. Austria is Red Bull territory. Now, I'm just asking the question. I don't know anything, but could that be a reason another thing ties in with Austria? That would be exciting. You've got obviously the Red Bull Racing Arena there. They got one of the teams is called Red Bull as well.
Red Bull Leipzig, was it Red Bull?
Yeah, Leipzig.
Red Bull Salzburg.
One of them's called Red Bull something. That could be an interesting thing. I don't know if it is. I don't know what the procedure is, but that it'd be interesting if they do want a big sponsor. That would be a cool way to announce it, and fans will be out there. So that's one of those things. Shadow, thank you for popping on. Goodbye. Keep right on. Everybody else, we are staying on for a long time, but thank you for being interactive today with us, Shadow, and we'll see you on the next one. So this links me into where they're saying about the fans not really being bothered about it. We need to go down the survival route, to be honest. Fans will be bothered if we can survive. We got an exciting summer ahead, and it's going to be a rebuild, and then we've got that coming in. However, if we don't, that preseason could be very different, and we're going to touch on a couple of different things on why that could. But we ran a poll on Twitter, was it? I can't remember.
Yep, you're going to ask me for the results now. I actually haven't checked because I was rushed coming home. So I haven't looked, but last time I checked, it was 63.
Yeah, when I checked them earlier, it was 66% of fans that voted, over 606 votes, said that we would survive. So pretty much a third of people out of 600 people that voted said that we would survive. So the feeling is quite split. A third, quite an amount of people that do think we're going to go down. I've been looking at the run-ins as to what we've got. We've got 6 home games remaining for the season. That could be vital to us. We play 3 of those around us as well, and 2 from the top 6 as we stand. Like, those 3 around us are all 6-point games. That is fundamentally absolute must-win games. We played 2 of the top 6, which you got Leicester, obviously, in first, and Norwich, last game of the season, who are currently in 6th. Those are 2 difficult games. The other teams are all in and around, not really fighting for a lot, other than, I think it's Coventry, 8th. Not really fighting for a lot. So as we get nearer to playing those, it won't be that bad. But 2 of our last 3 games, Rotherham, Huddersfield, and Norwich. So if we haven't done the business by that end of the table, we've got to panic. I think up until then we're odd.
I think Huddersfield and Rotherham, if results are going the way they're going at the moment, a lot of things aren't going in our favour.
Yeah.
Huddersfield will be a huge game. But if we're in the same situation we're in now as we head into Rotherham, that is a massive game, because someone said it the other day, they are going to be relegated by the time that we get to that game. They're going to have nothing to play for.
Yeah.
They are going to know that we are playing for everything. So they are going to come at us with absolutely everything we've got. They are going to try and make us crumble. They're going to put the pressure on us. And that's going to be mega. I'm hoping that, realistically, can't see us getting a point on Tuesday. But Watford next weekend is going to be massive. They're not on a good run. So that'll be a key game. And I think we've got is it QPR after that? So I think QPR is going to be another one that's going to be a massive game because they're in and around us. Preston, I feel like if we can get the home crowd behind us and sell that out, that is going to be huge.
That's the UB40 game. So we should have a sellout really for that. So that's going to be an interesting one, and really, really hope we get a result there, because that UB40 will be insane after if we've just won. But I think the Leicester game, look, we need to have got some points from Borough, Watford, QPR, and Preston, because that Leicester game, I personally think, I watched them the other day, they are phenomenal. And I think that is the first one where I'm going to say I'd actually predict us to lose out of the next 5 games. That'll be the
problem
one.
with Leicester, though. Leicester just lost to QPR. So Leicester can be beaten, and they lost to QPR at home. They can be beaten. They are just as open and just as vulnerable as other teams. They are also fighting for the title. So they are going to be putting all their pressure on. If we can get 6 points in the next 4 games before that, and results going our way, we're a bit more safe. We say 4 or 5 points above the thing. I wouldn't be opposed to playing like a weaker squad for that game.
Yeah.
Knowing that we've got a tough game after.
Yeah. The Leicester game, I'd have that as essentially a rest game too. To be honest, I know momentum is important, but you could rest your best players and use that as a almost stopgap sort of thing, because we've got to fit a game in hand in over everybody else as well, which is obviously Middlesbrough on Tuesday. In comparison to everybody else, we've got 1 game extra to play in the running, so we need to get that sorted. I think when I was looking at the live tables last night, Blues actually dipped into the relegation zone, and then West Brom finally turned it around and did us a favour, really. But that's how close we are. We were literally West Brom away from being in the relegation zone right now when we're having this conversation. So that's how close it is. But then what's crazy is 6 points. So we've got these 2 games. In the next 6 days, 6 points would see us all the way up to 14th.
Yeah, so we beat Middlesbrough Tuesday and we go to like 16th, don't we?
Middlesbrough Tuesday, so 3 points on top, so 42. So you go to 17th. We'd go to with our game in hand. So
no, that is our game in hand.
Yeah, that's what I mean. With that game in hand, puts us back onto the same amount of games as everybody else, and we'll be 17th then, which looks a little bit more comfortable, but it's really not. So, and then we've got Watford after, which are obviously they're only 6 points ahead of us. So essentially, that game could put us level with them and they're 14th at the moment. So if we win the
other
game
thing to look at as well,
at Middlesbrough, even
the other thing to question as well, you said there about games are on momentum, but I think it does you a favour if you go to Leicester away. They could potentially need 3 points to win the league. If we've got 6 to 9 points out of them games that I've said about, I think players will be grateful to have a break there, because The last thing you want to do is go to Leicester away, go get battered 4-5-0 or something stupid like that, and your momentum that's gone has gone poof, straight back down. You are going to have no confidence. You're going to have no momentum because you can sit there and go, well, we've just been battered 5-0. What's the point? Where I feel like if you give a few of those players that rest, I saw a comment earlier that asked about Donovan. Don't know why he got dropped from the team because he looked quality when he came in. But Leicester is definitely a game that I'd be bringing him into it.
Yeah.
And potentially a game where I'd bring Junior Dixon up and allow him just to get some experience under his belt. Yes, okay, you can have 20 minutes at the end of the game, but get someone like that. Start Juki, start Hogan, start these kind of players, start your Gardners and stuff like that. Maybe give Horner a good 70, 80-minute run out.
Yeah.
You know that you're going to Leicester, if they need the points to win the league, they are going to batter and annihilate whoever they play. If we are unfortunate to be that team, but we can afford to take the loss that week, I think Mowbray may go into it of, right, forget about this week, just go out there and enjoy the game.
Yeah.
It's not massive to us. Save yourself because we've got Huddersfield and Rotherham coming up and we need 6 points in them 2 games.
Yeah. I think for me, basing it off Gary's comments here, yes, Rotherham are basically gone. We can put that down. There's 2 spaces up for grabs. They're on 19 points. Everybody else is, the next person is on double their points already. But so they're basically gone. You've got a couple of teams around us playing really well, but this is important in terms of these 2 games then take us into the break. If we go into a mentality of, to that break with the mentality of, right, we've got 2 wins in the last 2 games. Not only that, we've got Mowbray coming back when we return. Let's go, let's push, let's move it, let's really up the ante. And that training whilst we're in that break, so high for the players. They will be so excited and driven by the fact that the momentum is there going into that break. I think that's important. I think if we go in there and we've lost those 2 games and we're relegation, that makes that break feel very long. I think that'll be a difference.
I think as well, some conversation we had on, which kind of ties us into the next bit. I think Middlesbrough, Watford, and Preston is going to make this huge. Because if you're having an open house after 3 losses or whatever it is, and we're in the situation we're in, that's going to be a bit of a hostile situation. The fans are going to want answers and want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And obviously, the fact that this open house ambition is they want to talk about fan experience.
Yeah.
So if you're going into that and fans are coming again, well, we're not happy. Our experience, we're coming to pay our hard-earned money to watch a team just get absolutely dicked on the pitch. They're not going to be happy. Where if you go into that game where you've got a point against Middlesbrough, maybe 3 against Watford, you go and get a point against Preston, or even get 3 points against Preston. You've had a good UB40 show, and then you've got that fan ambition, open house. That is going to be a complete switching point to where fans are going to go, all right, you mean business? What's going on? Give us the answers, and they get a bit more trustworthy. So I think that could be key.
Also, this open house, so close to the end of the season, given our situation, is such a precarious time to do it because they want to talk about infrastructure and fan experience. So, like you said, if we have a couple of bad results, we're really looking at we're going down at that point. Your infrastructure and your fan experience change from what you were planning. Same with like transfers, like that'd change. Like your fan experience is all based on the whole match day experience, and the infrastructure is obviously there to tailor around that. So are they buying stuff and building around it and moving this here and moving that there and setting this up and doing this? That's all well and good, but they're basing us on being in the championship next season, ready to push for promotion next year with a new team, new fan experience, new bits of the stadium or whatever they're coming. That's fundamentally different if you're now in League One and your budget is next to nothing, because we've already got to buy players and we'll have to adjust to fan gates, because let's be honest, the season tickets won't be up there that high if we're going down into League One. We're not like Leeds where they were still selling stupid amounts of season tickets in League One.
Sunderland selling out 42,000, was it?
Yeah.
In League One last year.
The same. So fundamentally it changes. So I honestly believe they're under the intentions that we're going to be going in. I am with Christendom here. I am staying positive. I think we're going to go into the next few games, go into this break. I think we'll get 4 points from the next 2 games. I think that's going to be quite important for us. And then that game where we go into the break, I'm not too sure. So we go into the game with I don't think we lose before the international break, and I think that's the important bit, not losing rather than just being winning. I think not losing is just as important at the moment. Like that game the other day, 90th minute. Come on, that's the sort of stuff where Mark Roberts ducks out the way in the 90th minute of the guy scoring header. That is where we need to be switched on. We need to be fighting until the last minute. With Birmingham City, we'll fight to the end. We sing it all the time. And that's what we need to do again this season. So we've done it. I can't tell you how many times, like 4 or 5 times in the last 10 years. We've survived towards the end of the season and do that. We will do it again. We will survive. We will fight to the end. And we've done it before. I saw a comment just up there saying we don't want another Bolton, but oh my God, the emotions of that day. Like, we stayed up. That was the most important thing. Would I have it happen like that again? Probably for my heart. No. However, would I take it where we get the same result and we end up staying up because of a 90-plus minute goal? Yeah, I'd take it if it meant staying up, but I wouldn't pick it if it's my options. I can't tell you how many, too many. Absolutely correct, Gary. That is, no, I don't want it to happen again, but we've proved several times that we can do it and go through. We've seen a few people comment in saying who out of the players that we got on loan and stuff and running out of contract would we keep. We're going to talk transfers now, but there's one last thing I want to talk about on this basis is realistically, from a scouting point of view right now, in the position we're in, surely they've now got to look at both options. As optimistic as the club want to be, we need to look at both options. If we get relegated, these are the players we need to buy, because there's a lot of players we need to buy. They need to do that homework. Or if we stay up, these are the players we're going to buy, because that could be 2 very different conversations because of budget and all that sort of stuff. And in terms of who'd actually want to come to us, some of those players that they may be lining up or doing that won't want to drop down. For example, prime one, Stansfield, right? In the position we're in right now, if we stay up, I think Stansfield loves playing for the club. I think he loves being here. He's obviously proven that he can do it at our club. The fans love him. I think he loves the club. And I remember seeing something where his dad had always told him to play for where feels like home and where you feel happy rather than money. So I think we've got a chance that if we stay up, we can go after him. However, I think if we go down, there's absolutely no chance. No chance in God's green earth that he comes to us if we go down.
But if we go down, does 2 things. One, does it make a difference that we've got owners that would generally care in getting us back up, rather than the old owners who, to be fair, if we went down, I don't think they'd really care. We've generally got owners now that want to make this the best thing in the world. If we went down, they're going to put the time and effort in to make it. Does that make a difference? And 2, whether we stay up or whether we go down, how much of an impact does it make if June the 1st, when the transfer window opens, or July 1st, whenever it is, If you have Birmingham at say 9 a.m, bam, there's a transfer. 12 p.m, bam, there's a second one. 4 p.m, bam, there's a third. We mean business. How does that change the difference? Does that affect? Do you reckon that'll affect fans differently? If, say, for example, we go down and they announce 3 permanent signings on the 1st of July of here's 3 new players that are going to help us get back up. Do you think fans have a look at that and go, actually, you know what? They mean business. Let's get behind them and support them. Or do you think fans will still sit there and go, League One, I ain't going to that?
Fundamentally, our fans, we've had a half open ground for 3 years and not been able to fill it. Let's be real, right? When stuff was dire with ownership, we didn't fill the stadium and it was half full. It was half capacity. Well, not quite half capacity, but if we go down, we're not filling the stadium. We're not getting the fans in. We're not going to have the high season ticket holders that we have now. However, if they announce players, I don't think that's going to change anything other than the mentality of, yeah, we're just going to bounce straight back up. I don't think it's going to make people pay their hard-earned money, and I think the Americans will still want a good chunk of money for season tickets and per game.
But if you announce 3 signings on day one of the transfer, so this is where I'd look at it. If we announce 3,
that's the perfect way to do it.
Yeah, but if say we went down day one of the transfer window, July 1st, we announced 3 new signings. I'm going to sit there and look at it and go, obviously it all depends who they sign, but you look at it and you go, okay, they mean business. If you then go into League One and you have a season, for example, like Leicester are having in the Championship right now, where we go and dominate and batter teams, and you see it with Sunderland did it when they come up, Coventry had the same when they got up. Does that make fans think, right, okay, well, I'll go support now because we're guaranteed to go up. We're smashing the league. We're 18 points clear at the top of the table, whatever fantasy world we live in. 18 points clear at the top of the League One. We've got 10 games to go. Do we sell out them last 10 games on the basis of, okay, now we're going back to the Championship, these owners need to do something bigger and better and show them that now we're going back up. We're not just going to be like, oh, they'll probably come back down again. That we're going to support them every season in the Championship. Or does like someone's put here, that they say the club's going to die 5-10 years longer, does it die down and do we generally become another team like Derby, another team like Portsmouth, like Wigan will be, Reading will end up being there, teams that just go down and we're going to struggle getting out of League One? Or do we do a Wolves, we go down, bounce back, 2 back-to-back promotions and then be fighting in Europe? Like,
have you seen how hard League One is? Have you seen the amount of big clubs in League One? That is a crazy league, right?
But if you go back to that league, it shows a point, don't it?
Yeah, but I don't think we need to worry about League One. I don't want to talk about it too much. It's fucking depressing. I think we need to be more optimistic. We need to push forward with getting behind the team this season, regardless of wherever the results are and whatever are going for us. And I think we're going to see more incentives from the club. They put on incentives for Sunderland. We sold out. We got it. I think they're putting on. They saw then the Preston game as the next incentive game if we were playing decent football. However, that's why they put UB40 on after as an incentive game to sell more tickets. However, I think they've seen the way we've played the last few and they're reactive to it now. Regardless of what's going on, they know we're not going to be able to get enough fans in charging good money for the dire football that we have been doing and the results that we're getting. So I think 2 for 30 shows the club that the club are literally constantly watching. They're going over a few things, going, right, we just want the fans here. 2 for 30, £15 a game. That's cheap.
But I heard you say it earlier where someone had commented saying, too late. I totally agree. I think if you're wanting to put this incentive on, you should have put it on before Millwall.
Yeah.
to let fans buy tickets, or you just put a good deal on for Watford and sell that game out. Because putting it on 2 days before a game, when people have already got work scheduled in, they've probably already got either work Tuesday or work Wednesday, or kids they can't just get babysitters for. There's other things that come up in the way. I think announce it 2 days before that you get the 2 free tickets. Don't think it's going to make much sales. If it does, it'll be people buying it for 2 for 30 just to get the Watford tickets cheaper.
Yeah.
And come into that game, but you won't get many at Middlesbrough. I think they've left it too late, close to the game now, to announce it, and that's where they've messed up.
Yeah, I think it should have been announced the other day. But also, I don't know how easy it is to put in place incentive like this. I don't think it's as easy as just us going, yeah, we'll just do 2 for 30 for the next few games. Yeah, I don't think it's that easy. But also, it should have been announced beforehand with enough time for doing it. I don't know if people have already bought a ticket for the Tuesday game. Can they claim it up to 2 tickets? We don't know.
But it's only season ticket holders, isn't it?
Season ticket holders can use their references to get friends and family in. So if someone's already bought a ticket and they've got a friend who's a season ticket holder, let's for example, let's say we got your fiance a ticket for the game on Tuesday, and then she had bought it through one of our references. We can then upgrade that to a ticket to the Watford game for free, surely. Don't know. That's not our job, but it'd be really tough to get a good crowd there on a Tuesday. I think that's the idea of it. You could put an offer on for Watford, but it's a Saturday. They generally have a bigger crowd anyway. I think the idea behind it is get more people to the Tuesday game, which is going to be lower than usual anyway.
The game in hand that we need to win as well.
Yeah. Important that we win it, or at least get a draw from it, but ideally win it. It's a tough one. I think you end up almost alienating people doing it so late because they've already bought tickets, or now they've got to phone the club shop again and go through all this sort of stuff. But look, an incentive is an incentive, and it can only, even if it adds 1,000 more people than what were coming before, it's 1,000 more people and that's cheering on the team. So that's important in that side. On the other hand, we've got 6 home games left. They need to do something for all of those 6 home games, because let's be honest, it's not going to. The last game, Norwich at home, last game of the season, 99% going to sell out anyway. Right, regardless of whatever's going on at that point, last game of the season, everybody knows it's a big piss up. You go, it's fun regardless of whatever, and it's a good time. But
I think that don't sell out though if we are relegated by then.
I don't know. When we were relegated from the Prem, it still sold out, and we I think we beat Arsenal, didn't we, on the last game of the season that year? Where we were doing the Wenger and the Conga and stuff like that. I think that's that game.
Worst game I've ever been to was do you remember the Blackburn game we got relegated? We won 4-0 and we got relegated. And that was just horrible. That sold out major. But the atmosphere is what's important. It's not selling out the tickets. Because we've been to games in the Premier League and we've been to games in the Championship where we've sold out, but the fans are dead. And if the fans' atmosphere was dead, don't get behind the players. We've had it recently where we had who did I come to the other day? What was the game the other day?
Millwall.
Southampton game. Southampton game.
Yeah.
Where we were so quiet in that first half. And it's the same, we've said it for years and years. Birmingham City fans seem to wake up the second half and they're like, all right, we'll sing now.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10 when that happens, we're already losing. We had the QPR game last season. You didn't come to the QPR game last season. That was on a Friday night, and that was loud, and that brought me back to Prem days. You went to the Sunderland game this year, and it's That was loud and it was going. That's what motivated teams to play. It's pointless selling all the tickets cheap if a bunch of people are going to buy them and not come and cheer on the team and not sing and get behind the boys, because it don't work.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And then you've got the opposing fans, which obviously Dan the Fishman here says Tuesday's night's game against Middlesbrough, it'd be hard to sell out even if it was £10 a ticket. I agree.
Hard to half
but then you are.
It says it'd be hard to half fill even at £10 a ticket.
But then obviously all this as well. Same guy, separate comment. Do you think Middlesbrough will bring loads all that way on a Tuesday? Personally, I don't think they will. They're what, 13th place, not playing great. They've got not got a lot to play for. It's not a short journey. I don't think they bring a lot, which is even more important for us to sell as many as possible, because we can take advantage of them not really pushing a lot.
Middlesbrough have one. I'm on a few different pages on Facebook, like championship related ones, and every week you see it when Middlesbrough are away. Oh, Middlesbrough fans were awful. They don't sing. They only come like a few of them. I'd be surprised if they bring more than say 600-700 on Tuesday. If that, you may look at like 300-400. They won't. They might not bring a lot.
Yeah.
But they're genuinely the few away games we've been to, like home games we've been to when Middlesbrough have come. Their fans aren't loud. They're not cheering. They're not singing. They're not shouting. But then we've had other teams that have come to us and we're like, oh, their fans have been boring the last couple of years. And then all of a sudden they get this new generation that's come in. They rock up to a full sold out and they're loud.
Yeah.
We've been to an away game where there's been, I think we went to the one that was like 600 of us and we were loud. We went to a game where there was 5,000 of us. There was loud. We went to Sheffield Wednesday away and we took 2,000 people and it was quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So you may only bring 400 fans. They might not bring a lot. If their fans are singing and their fans are loud, that's going to motivate them more.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you're reading these comments, it's hard because everybody's right in their own way. But the team need to give fans something to cheer about too. It's hard to sing when you're worried. Correct. However, from my point of view, we can't be worried before the game kicks off. So we should be coming out, that keep right on, that clapping before those first 5 minutes of that game. That is fan-led. That should be push, 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 push from the fans. Let's sing, let's get behind the team, then make the team play. Then it's the team's job to keep up the fans singing. And that's personally how I believe it should be. That entrance to the field and that first 5 minutes of the game, that should be fan-led. That should be, yeah, great. Let's go.
But that's also where an issue is, because I've said it to you plenty of times we've been down there. What irritates me, you have the tamperer come on, straight away, you're like, yes, on your feet, you're clapping, because back in the day, it used to be the tamperer come on, the two teams in the tunnel, get behind your boys and they come out. Now it seems to be the tamperer comes on, he tells the boys who are in the tunnel, get behind the team, be the 12th man for the boys in blue, come on, you blues. And then 5 minutes later, he says it again, and the players actually walk out. Half the fans by then are going, oh, we're going to stop clapping because I can't be bothered. I've wasted 5 minutes clapping. Now you're telling me they're coming out. Are they actually coming out this time? Oh, look, they are. But the atmosphere goes because everyone's like, oh, you're starting the song way too early. That song used to start.
I also think you lose a little bit of it where he's reading the teams out. He should say, the teams are in the tunnel. This is the lineup, blah, 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 blah. Let's be the 12th man. Come on, you blues. And then they come out.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it should be done, because instead of them coming out and the fans singing, clapping along and doing all that and cheering every player's name and booing the opponents and all that sort of stuff, you've just got him talking over the top of all the music. It all stops again. And then you got the we'll be dreaming of. That's the next bit everybody sings. And that is literally like a whole 2 minutes where everybody's like, Come on, he's just reading out the teams. Let's go, yeah, clap, 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 let's go.
But even that bit's not like it used to be. Like, I remember back in the day when we had Joe Hart in goal and players like that, and it was every player got a big round of applause, a big cheer. Every away player got a massive who or a boo or who are you, whatever it was. And you got behind the players. Now it's like he reads Ruddy, Laird, Buchanan, Sanderson, and then it dies because no one can be bothered.
I think when you get is Duke, and it's like Duke.
Yeah, I think that is very key. And like people are saying, the Tampa should be the last song played. Yes, it should be. But the beginning of the season, one thing we saw a lot of was people saying, get rid of the clapping and keep right on. Bring back the la la la. Everyone, you saw on Twitter and Facebook, everyone was get rid of the clapping, bring back the la la la, and have that. Now they play that keep right on version for fans to do that because they've seen it online, and they think, well, we'll get them singing the whole song. And the worst thing about it is they play the slow keep right on, everyone loves it, and we sing the last bit, not the bit that reminisces us, which is the keep right on part. That's flat as a pancake. It's the we'll be dreaming of, and it's like, where are these fans during that keep right on? That keep right on section, if that's loud, and you keep it loud, 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 as we're dreaming on loud, we'll be there, and then you carry on the rest of the song, you go from that keep right on point all the way down. That brings hairs upon your skin.
I actually generally think it's because it's the original version. It's not the words we sing. So people get confused that it's not the version we sing. Like it's the I can't remember if it's Harry or Henry Lauder version.
Harry Lauder.
Yeah, Harry Lauder, that's it. But I think people get confused. And that's the bit they realise, oh, this is our song again now, and they know this bit. I personally think what they need to do is get, I don't know, a Birmingham choir or something
to sing it.
To re-sing an old version, that long, slow. Do you remember when we used to sit in the lower Tilton and we had the Tilton 10 and 11 boys doing all the singing behind us, and then you had like the corner had like the choir, as we used to call it. Everything was just...
Who called the choir?
Slow as anything. However, that's awesome. Every song slowed down when everybody's singing it is just awesome, and that's what we need to get back to. We used to have fast songs and slow songs, and the same song slowed down straight after each other, and it sounds like two different songs. I got goosebumps on my arm thinking about some of those where the choir started singing keep right on like really slow, and it just makes that song, instead of being 90 seconds of as you go through life, it's a long road of joy. Like that's how it feels like it sometimes, and then we're having to sing it again in 10 minutes because we've gone through the other songs, and then as we go through life, instead of doing that, if we slowed it down, that song lasts like 3-4 minutes. That's a long time for that song, and everybody's wholeheartedly singing it, and that is what I think back to Prem days is that's those slow versions of the song coming out, and hearing Keep Right On sang so slow. When I see the videos of it now, there was that one Remembrance Sunday where it was the whole ground sang it so slow, and it was just the best Keep Right On I ever heard. And that was when we had people come down from the roofs, army come down from the roofs and stuff like that. And then that Keep Right On. Oh, that was amazing. But do it slow. Keep Right On should be slow. Sing the rest of it as fast as you want now.
So Dan says here, why do we need Laird to come and wave his arms to get any more noise from the crowd? It shows the players want more from us. And they do. There are so many interviews where you look at away games and they're like the crowd non-stop singing. Look at Watford away when we started that Sanderson, and he come out after, he was like, for about 15-20 minutes they're singing this song loud, proud. He goes, that's what we live for, is hearing our name be chanted. Yes, okay, but to keep the crowd going and to keep having them behind us and all this, That's what the players want. They want the fans behind them. We have, like you said, a couple of minutes at the beginning of the game where we have a bit of a sing-song. We sing "Keep Right On," "We're Birmingham," "Shit on the Villa." It's back to "Keep Right On,"
Not even
"We're
shit in the Villa
Birmingham."
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's literally like I get some of the boys that have been there for years and they're all boys and stuff like that. But get some new songs going. The amount of people you
yeah,
see going, "Oh, I've made this song for Jay Stansfield," or "I've made this song for Paik," "I've made this song for blah blah," and fans are so quick, like, "That shit, nah, don't want that. No,
yeah.
you never see me singing that." Why? Why not sing a song that's going to support our player? Yes, okay, it might be crap, but when you've had a few beers on a Saturday, you're down the football, you're with all your mates, you're all singing, having a laugh. Bring out these new songs because I'm sick and tired of going on St Andrews and singing "Keep Right On" about 50 times.
Mate, we've got
We
songs
used to
about
sing it
Francis's
3
penis
times.
and Hannibal Medbury's curly hair. Like, you can sing the songs about literally
Yeah.
whatever. But for a fan like Bakuna, you can see when we're doing the Bakuna, he loves that. He comes over, that's it. He'll come over and take a corner, and he'll be like, da, 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 da. Like, you can. They listen to us, and we used to have Craigie Gardner is a blue and Gary Gardner is a blue, and
Craigie.
we used to have songs for loads of players. Now it's like
About sausages and
you got,
eggs.
you got Stano, right? Scored 10 goals this season. Nope, nothing. Stano. He hasn't got his own song. Like, personally, yes, I think some of the songs, if we start singing things like something shit like "Allez, allez, allez" and stuff that everybody else sings, it's boring. It's every other crowd sing it. When you hear them come in the away end, and they're like, "Oh,
E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Up
yeah,"
the
you're just
football
like,
league we go.
"Oh, everybody sings it. Get the fuck out of here!" Like, we've always been great at songs, like the sausage and egg song. One of the best songs we sing. Gets everybody going.
But like, I am a City fan. That me and you spent about 3 months when we were younger to try and work out what they were singing because it was sung at every game. It first started coming out. We
Yeah,
got to the point where it finally come on fan chants or something. We got the lyrics up and we were like,
yeah,
"Oh, okay," like, and that was sang proudly at every game. And then it was, like I said, the Craig Gardner song come out. Stephen Carr then had the song come out, and Roger John Scott Dan had
yeah.
his version of Gold come out, and it
Goal.
kept going on. And players were getting
Even Ashley
songs that,
Cole had a song.
yeah, but you had like Swing Low version for Cameron Jerome,
Yeah,
songs like that. And now you get it. Like the closest we got to a new song, well, the best new song we got this year was "Oh Koji Miyoshi." It's like you've just took Seven Nation Army, which every club, by the way, you can sing about every player.
yeah.
Every club has it about 2 or 3 players. We've took the most boringest tune and put one player new song. Where's the backing for Led? Where's the backing for Drame and your Bielix and your Ruddies, Stanfields? You've got Duke. All it is Duke, and half the time I feel like the crowd are just booing because they don't have a clue what's being said.
Yeah.
And, and like this season, the one song that I've seen that was sang that we haven't sang for ages was Scott Hogan is a Blue. But there's no new songs coming out, and people wonder why the atmosphere is dead. It's because no one wants to take on a new song because they're like, "Oh, so many clubs do that." Yeah, okay, clubs might do, but sing it for
That
now just for
Sanderson
the
one was
fact that
good.
that player is going to get a bit of confidence.
That Sanderson one was good, and that literally was like wildfire, wasn't it? That was, yeah, right. We love this one. Let's go.
Yeah, and Blues brought it out on a shirt.
Yeah, and it was like, oh right, we could still do old songs, but we need to support individual players. If someone's having a great game, the fans singing their name, like, there's none of that anymore. It's such like,
Even singing is one of our own for Jordan James don't happen at games anymore.
yeah, it's a shame because we've lost that individuality of players getting their individual remix, and congratulations for the game. But it is what it is. We used to, if like people used to come and take a corner for the opponent thing. Man, I used to love watching. When we were down by the net at the back of the Tilton, watching the corner just absolutely abuse whoever it was in there, regardless of whoever it was, whether they're available or not, or whether they're just the opponent. It's just like, oh, you bold knobhead. But like,
or abusing the keeper.
Abusing the keeper. It just doesn't feel like it's happening anymore. And that corner down there by the lowest section of the ground, I know it's been broken for a long time, but now it's open again, and it's just always seems empty. I think we'll see a bit of a difference next season when people can actually get their season tickets for the whole season down there again. But yeah, it just seems like a little bit dead down by the crowd now. And, that's where the players feel it the most.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's a bit disappointing to see just how much...
To turn it and make it different.
Yeah, because I think it shows... It's disappointing to see and depressing to see just how much... When you think about... You put Birmingham City 2008, 2007 to 2011, 2012. You think about what a game was like then, how the crowd were, the atmospheres. A player would sign the next day at the game, they've got a chant about them. You think about that and you look at now and you generally see exactly how much Birmingham City has dropped over the last decade. And it is depressing to look at, and you think, how can we get that back? But it's not going to happen overnight, like they keep saying. And I generally think Tom Wagner, Tom Brady, Gary Cook, Craig Gardner, Anning Catering, or whoever it is, I generally think the people that we've got now behind the club that are running us, give it 2, 3, 4 seasons, and that will be Birmingham City again. But the fans need to trust it, and they need to believe in it and stay along with it, and not just keep giving up, which is what Blues fans keep doing. I seen a photo the other day that said, does your club have a passionate Birmingham City fan? Does your club have a passionate fan that everyone knows? Now, I don't know what his name is, but there's a gentleman that sits down in the lower Tilton. He's always got a leather cap on. Every game you go to, you see him. There's also the two guys. People will tell me in the comments who they are because they are well known. The blonde Afro guy and the old guy and the old gent that he's with. They are at every home and away game.
Yeah.
They are literally Birmingham City through and through. And it'd be very interesting to actually sit and come talk with them and to see what they think about Birmingham City now and how much it's actually downfall, because we go to home games and you see the blonde Afro guy, the music's playing over the tannoy. You can't dance that kind of music. And he sat down the bottom cutting shapes to it. And you're like, how's this guy got so much energy?
He does it at games too.
Yeah, but he's generally just
knows
a happy
their
guy.
Names. Can you get... Yeah, Trizzy, that's his name. We need to try. We're going to try and get them on.
Because they would be good people to bring on. But they are genuinely just passionate fans, and that's what we need. We need a Tilton, a Cop, and a Gilmerick full of passionate fans like that want to be there. And all these fans that come, like we get so many round by us in Rock 11, the young lads that are literally there, I want to give a bit of abuse, I'll fight you outside. Piss off. Football's not about this fighting crap. If you want to fight, go watch the UFC. Come down the Blues, sing your heart out, have a few pints with your friends, and enjoy the game. Get behind the team. There's too much negativity in our fan base now.
Like this. Alan, just stay behind. Let's go. Let's pick it up, because that negativity just feeds in. Positivity feeds into the team. Negativity feeds into the team. We just need to get behind them and, the players are going to be feeling the same as what we do. Frustrated, pissed off, thing that the guy of them had signed for, or that they had started playing for, they were playing the best football for, got sacked. Yeah, but there's nothing we can do about that. That's gone. We need to have a lovely cup of man the up and get over it and keep moving forward. And that's what we need to do. It's not about losing trust. We just got to take it is as it is. No matter how tired and weary we are, that road really is. We need to just keep right on and keep going. It's as simple as that. Just keep going, and that's important. Come on, Blues!
Yeah,
Love
this
Jeremy.
guy is
What a guy.
very well known at the club as well. That's what I mean. But Blues did a video with him couple months ago. I think Dave Owen did a video with him, and they asked him generally about the club at the moment. And you generally seen how unhappy he was. And you sit there and you think he's a die-hard Blues fan, travels home and away. He's always singing "Come On, You Blues" whole match. And you're talking to someone like him, and he's going, "Yeah, it's not good what we're going through." So it's what the game's all about. You've got to look at situations going on and look at that. But as for that Gary Cook comment, I think Tommy, a lot of you know Tommy, I think Tommy put it in our group chat earlier quite well, where he put Gary Cook, look at Man City now. Gary Cook started that. Look at Nike, where they've gone in the last 10, 15 years. Gary Cook was part of that. Look at the Saudi League. Gary Cook was part of that. He knows how to run a business. He knows how to make a business successful, and he knows what it takes. I don't believe he had any malicious intentions when he brought Rooney in. He generally thought, big name, will come over, will do well, and maybe push. Yes, okay, he probably should have gone a bit sooner, but he made one mistake. If you're going to turn on everyone after one mistake, we ain't going to get anywhere with these new owners. And they generally will start looking at things and being like, why should I bother?
We've just had 10 years of dire ownership. We've got a team willing to take risks to progress the club to where they need to be. They backed up all their reason. Look, we wanted this type of football. This worked last 13 seasons. The two of the teams that have got promoted every year have played front foot football. It's as simple as that. That's what they wanted to change. John Eustace didn't want to do it. They took a risk on Wayne Rooney because he plays that sort of football, but he just didn't work at our club. That's a life lesson. They learned from it. They've reacted, and here we are. That's not a reason to lose your job. Like, for me, I love Gary Cook. I think what his future plans are for the club, and as a Blue knows, I think that's also hugely important. He literally wants what's best for the club. So
yeah,
that's important. We are going to start wrapping up in a second, but we have to get over the line in the next 6 games. We literally can make that difference. Yes, we've been saying it all night. Yes, we can. 2 for 30, the 2 games as well. Get yourselves down there. Let's go. Let's get behind. And let's really push the team forward, regardless of anybody, management appointments, whether anybody isn't playing for their season and they're doing some little bits now. Regardless, if Scott Hogan comes on the pitch tomorrow, on Tuesday even, just clap him. He's playing for the Blues. Let's get him to score a goal, seeing Scott Hogan's a Blue. I mean, I don't think he will, but let's at least give him a chance. Yeah, you bought 3 shirts with his name on the back, so
100%.
Yeah, so that's more for you. Anyway, we're going to start wrapping up here, guys. Thank you for everything. Loads of the comments, Mazza King, Dan the Fishman, all of the boys that have been on all night. Thank you so much for commenting and being part of it and giving us your feedback. But the conversation does not stop there. We carry on going. So don't forget, we have social medias. They're all down the bottom. Blues Focus Live is what our social media is for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And obviously the main Blues Focus page is where we see most of you from. So thank you for watching. Of course, if you want to be on the next one, this is important. We're wanting to get more people on to come and actually do guest spots, not just in the comments. So any of you guys that have been popping on, or if you want to pop on, just message us either on my where is it there at KeyFits92, or message us on the Blues Focus page or the Focus Live page, and we'll get you on. Thank you for watching. We will, of course, see you again. Josh, thanks for popping on again. And we'll go through this. And most importantly, get yourselves down to St Andrews and keep right on.
Keep right on, guys. See you in a bit.